I'm Tommy Irish, and today I'm going to inform you about bladder outlet obstruction. So bladder outlet obstruction is also known as lower urinary tract obstruction, and it is a rare and, in most cases, a fatal birth defect in babies. It is when there is a blockage in the urethra, and the urethra is what carries the urine out into the baby's amniotic sac. So this affects the baby by bladder damage, kidney damage, low amniotic fluid. Bladder outlet obstruction occurs in 2.2 out of 10,000 births. There is no known cause, and genetic testing genetics sometimes play a role. So most people get their genetics tested. Males are more likely to be diagnosed with this. So typically you are diagnosed, or your baby is diagnosed in the first or second trimester following an abnormal ultrasound. After that, you'd be sent to a specialist, which is typically at a children's hospital. There they would find out the severity of the baby and determine if the baby is eligible for treatment. So to be eligible for treatment, your baby would have to have functioning kidneys and also have amniotic fluid during the most crucial times of the lung development, which is 16 to 20 weeks. So treatment includes placing a shunt into the bladder, or placing a shunt into the bladder of the baby, which they would go through mom into the baby's stomach, or they just typically just drain. So after the baby is born, they would spend quite a bit of time in the NICU, and then after, they would typically go through a surgery in which it corrects the defect, or they would do dialysis, and most of these babies go on to have kidney transplants and or lifelong problems. So I know a lot about this about this diagnosis because my son was diagnosed with it, and he was born on March 14th, 2019. So his case was very severe, and there was nothing that any doctor could do. We went to OU Children's and a Texas Children's, and we got the same diagnosis from both of them. His bladder outlet obstruction was too severe for treatment, so after he was born, he ended up passing shortly after. That is not surprising with this diagnosis. There's only so much that the doctors can do, and we knew early on that they couldn't do much for him. So thank you for listening.